scholarship for poor white boys, kids from working class white backgrounds who might not get the leg up that they could have, and if they're bright, perhaps they need a scholarship, perhaps they need this kind of assistance. And the schools have apparently turned it down on the basis that it could break equality laws. And the professor who's made the proposed donation, Brian Thwaites, who is this old, obviously wealthy person, he has said, well, you know, what about Stormzy? Stormzy has given money to Cambridge University to assist black kids who might want to go to Cambridge with a scholarship. So it's raising all sorts of questions about who you're allowed to give scholarships to and who you aren't allowed to give them to. I think it's a really interesting case. I think it's really worth bearing in mind that white working class boys are doing the worst out of all social groups in education and in employment too, particularly professional employment. It's a really serious problem, and I think it's really important to challenge the phrase I hate most in the modern era is the phrase white privilege, because it's just complete nonsense. There are so many, it completely erases the idea of class. It completely erases the reality that many white kids grow up in poor families with very few opportunities and they struggle a lot. This idea that they're all privileged and they all have this kind of identitarian sense of authority over everyone else is completely untrue. I think it's a real shame that this scholarship that's aimed at working class kids from a particular background seems like it's not going to go through because it might break equality laws.
What's your view on this, Christina? Because it is a complicated issue, isn't it? Because there's more than one group that might need help here.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I think there have been many studies that have shown that white working class boys are the group that are struggling more than any other at the moment. And where I think it gets very difficult is, look, if there are scholarships to be given for people from backgrounds who are struggling, then I'm all for those being given to the groups that are struggling most, i.e. white working class boys. I don't see how that could possibly break the law when scholarships are available in other categories. If you can give scholarships, as Brenda says, to BME boys or girls or, you know, whatever, then you should be able to do that for this. Personally, I'm deeply opposed to private education. I think that 7% of the population go to private schools. I think they remain one of the engines of inequality in this country. I think a very high proportion of people, both in the media and in politics and in all the power institutions of this country, went to private schools. If it was in proportion, it should be 7%. It isn't. Personally, I would abolish them. Not this minute, because obviously that would be naive and stupid, and, you know, you have to do things with a democratic mandate. But I think, you know, the much bigger issue is, while we continue to have Etons and Winchesters, we're never going to have any degree of equality of opportunity for people in this country.
Okay, let's move on and try and get on another subject before we go to